Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the Italian tier 10 tech tree heavy tank, the Rinoceronte. Now if you do like the video as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Rinoceronte, this tank used to be pretty horrific because the reload was awful. Had fantastic gun handling for the alpha it had, but the DPM, the actual reload was just absolutely atrocious, and it meant it put out damage so slow that a lot of games passed it by. And then they did a buff nerf to the vehicle, and by doing that, they buffed the reloads to a point where it's still at now, and it's a lot better than it ever used to be, and it's a lot more manageable. Is it quite at the level of some of the other tanks that have 490? Not really, but you have a 3-shot 1500 alpha clip, which I feel like it's acceptable for what it's at. But in the buff nerf, because it was the highest hit rate percentage for a tier 10 tank, so it hit the highest percentage of its shots out of any tank in its tier, they nerfed its aim time and its accuracy. So if it was getting better reload, it was going to have the trade-off that it struggled to hit its shots as easily as it did before. And a lot of the reason that it had that high hit percentage was because the reload was so awful that everyone would make sure they're going to hit that shot because the reload was terrible. And then recently they buffed it again and buffed stuff like the turret armour and things like that put the Rinoceronte in a very, very nice position indeed. And it put it in a position where I enjoy playing it thoroughly. I think it's a solidly balanced vehicle. But then in the recent balance patch, they also buffed it yet again. So what did they do to change the Rinoceronte this time? Well, they basically reverted the nerf to the aim time and the accuracy that they did originally back in the day. So they made it so it's got 0.33 accuracy at 100 meters and a 2-second aim time. So the gun handling got way, way better. So this tank is a hell of a lot nicer to play now because you actually hit shots really quite easily. Although, you know, RNG is still a thing. It aims in a lot quicker, so you don't really need the gun stabilizer anymore. And then add to that, your dispersion factors during movement and rotation got better as well, so the aim circle doesn't bloom out quite as much while turning the tank and the turret. So again, you don't really need the gun stabilizer. When you're fully aimed, the shots are more likely to hit than they were previously. And generally, the vehicle is just a lot nicer to play, and it's a thoroughly enjoyable vehicle, fully capable of having some really large games, which you're going to see. But yeah, it's an enjoyable vehicle to play. I really do enjoy playing this tank, and having that really nice APCR velocity, or APDS, whatever it is it's on this tank, having the nice penetration, the nicer reload now, stuff like that, the tank is just a very enjoyable vehicle, and it's in the perfect spot for what it is now. So, the Rinoceronte, it has a 40 km/h top speed, with a 15 km/h reverse speed, 700 horsepower engine, which is 15.65 horsepower per ton ratio. You will generally get up to about the 40 km/h top speed, but it's a little bit sluggish in getting there because you have a 2.08 on soft, 1.08 on medium, and 0.99 on firm. That are okay resistances, but generally it's a heavy tank, so it's not the quickest up to its top speed, but it will get there. You've got a 10% internal fire chance, which is on the low end of fire chances. It doesn't really get set on fire that often, which is quite nice. 32 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed means it does turn pretty quickly for a heavy tank on its tracks, which is definitely nice for the Rinoceronte. It's got 523 meters of view range with the build that I run, which means you can spot for yourself very, very nicely indeed. You can also get some very good assistance damage games with that. You'll just struggle when you're trying to spot TDs and stuff that are at the back of the map 500 meters away like we currently are struggling with in this game. But still, 523 meters of view range devalues people's camos, and you will spot people at surprising distances, which will then, again, feed your assistance damage. You've got 37.38 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed, which is a lot faster than the tracks, which is nice for the Rinoceronte. Again, means you can get the gun snapped in on target quicker. A 0.92 accuracy during rotation with the 2.28 accuracy during movement actually isn't that great as a pair. It was a lot worse than it was, but it means the aim circle does bloom out a fair bit, but because the aim time is now 1.81 seconds, which is a hell of a lot faster than it was like 2.3 before this buff. 1.81 seconds means you're aiming very, very quickly, and you can trade off the gun stabilizer, have that little bit extra bloom on the gun, and have that better reload with having something like vents, as well as buffing up the view range to have the very, very good view range to be able to spot people at better distances, and as well as being able to put out damage, be able to assist your team by spotting people. It just helps for that. That's what that buff has done for it. So even though 2.28 accuracy during movement isn't great, and 0.92 is not that great either, as a pair, you see the aim circle effect it has in this game. It's not massive, and because that's as big as it gets, and because you've got that 1.81 second aim time as well, it doesn't take long to get it firing, which is nice. You've got 0.26 accuracy at 100 meters as well, which means this gun is super accurate when you get it fully aimed, which means majority of its shots will land, which is glorious. 10 degrees of gun depression makes it extremely flexible on a ridgeline as well, which is great for the Rinoceronte, and it's where it wants to be. Exposing its turret armor, which has been buffed with the patch, not this last patch, but the patch before, which means it will bounce a hell of a lot more shots than it used to be, and it's kind of the place that the Rinoceronte wants to be. You've got a 3-shot clip on this 127mm gun with a 4-second intraclip reload, which is quite long, which means it takes 8 seconds from firing the first shot to deal 1500 damage, but dealing 1500 damage, it all roundabouts rounding up. Dealing 1500 damage in 8 seconds is really actually not bad at all for when you do decide to dump, but you've got to bear in mind that if you do dump, the reload on this tank is atrocious, but that's the balancing factor. You have the flexibility of being a single-shot tank with the 450 Alpha on this auto-reloader, and have the flexibility to decide to clip people out, like you've already seen me do a couple of times in this game, stuff like the 277 and stuff, or the Centauro, where I had the opportunity to drop the clip to kill something, I did it. Even though it's punishing myself quite badly with making the reload bad, it can be a nice thing to do, and you've got the flexibility. That's why I like the auto reloaders. You've got that flexibility to be a single shot or be an auto loader. You're not amazing at either, but you're good enough that you can have an impact on the game. And that's what the Rinoceronte can do, because you've got 17.78 second reload on the first shell that loads into the clip. The second shell is 14.22 second reload, which is long again. And then you've got a 10.67 second reload for the best reload you can get on this clip. So this shell that we're loading right now has a 10.67 second reload, which, again, if you boost with food, will get even better, which for 490 Alpha isn't great, but it also isn't bad. And you have a clip on top of that if you need it, right? That's the whole point. And that adds to the general uniqueness of the Rinoceronte and what makes it fun to play. So you've got 268 pen on the standard APCR rounds, which is fantastic. We'll go through most vehicles you're going to face, and if you need to go through something that's thicker armoured like a Mouse or a Type 5 Heavy, you can load the 325 pen heat rounds, which should go through them a little bit easier as well. With 127 pen on the HE, that's quite nice, but generally I don't load the HE because I never find the time to ever load it, so it's kind of pointless having it. So I just make sure that in a situation like you're seeing here, where I'm starting to run low on ammunition, I'm not suffering from the problem of running low on ammunition. You got 1,452 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR round that has 490 Alpha, 756 meters a second shell velocity on the heat rounds, which is really poor, meaning that the velocity on the APCR rounds is fantastic. You don't have to give much lead at distance to be able to hit your targets, but the heat rounds are dreadful in terms of the velocity, and you have to give a lot of lead, and you will feel a massive difference in the gun handling when you do load those heat rounds. So as you saw in that first game there, we finished with the 1404 base XP, 6,644 damage, and you saw at the end there what can happen with indecision. This tank is all about getting the most out of the reloads and knowing what you have to do to get the most out of the reloads. I was waiting for the second shell to go in so I could put 2 shells into that M3Y. What I should have done is just dumped the final shot and got the shot in. I think it was the derp in the second shot into the floor, which made that frustration point there, which is why I waited. But I should have just fired, because there was no way that that guy was ever going to survive with my team marauding, and that was just a mistake by me, and it meant that I missed out on 7k damage. But yeah, it is what it is, and that's where this tank can be a bit frustrating or a bit awkward, because it really is down to you and how you're going to get the most out of the reload, and how you're going to control that reload as to how you're going to get a lot of damage out. And that's where people will find the frustration, because it is a difficult playstyle, but that's the whole point. It's a unique playstyle that's difficult to get the most out of, but once you do get the most out of it and you learn the nuances of doing it, you will find the satisfaction in playing it and the enjoyment in it. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment on the old Rinoceronte? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, the Trap Mechanic, Rapid Aim with the Advanced Loader, the Optics and the Vents. Vents to get the best reload I can get in conjunction with the Advanced Loader, because like I say, the reload is a little bit slower, so it's nice to help it out with Vents to get that extra little boost in that reload. Optics to be able to get the best view range I can get with 523 meters of view range, which means I can spot for myself and help the team by spotting when I am stuck reloading as well. The Advanced Loader, like I say, to get the best out of the DPM. All 3 gun perks, so I don't have to worry about running the gun stabilizer, because it is still a bit derpy if you do not run all 3 gun perks, so that's why we do it. And Rapid Aim, just to make that turret traverse better, because it's nice to have the faster turning turret. But again, that last perk is really down to you and how you want to set up the vehicle. I like having the faster turning turret. You could run Deadeye if you wanted to increase the chance of doing module damage by 6%. which you could do for the memes. It's a meme perk. Don't ever run that if you don't want to do that. You could run the armor angling to reduce the amount of damage coming into the tank by 5%. Clutch braking if you want the track traverse to be better. If you want to reduce the effect of the ground resistances on the mobility, run off-road driving. It's really down to you and how you want to set it up. So in this second game here, we're up to 4.3k damage already, and we are nearly 2.5 minutes into this game, and we're just trying to keep damage flowing as most of their team are stood directly in front of us. You've seen the management of the reload so far as well. We've just stuck to single shot fire. We've not auto-loaded where we can, but if we do get the opportunity to shut someone down, I might do it. So like getting the shots into the Cranvarn, if I could put 2 shots in to finish him, that's what I might do. But having the best reload I can possibly get right now is something that I want to be doing. But as we see, the Chieftain overexposes, so I decide, okay, if he wants to try and get a shot in, I'm going to punish him and put 2 shots in. So now he's in a position where if he takes another hit, he's a one-shot for everyone. The Cranvarn's also a one-shot, but this is where we're stuck with the reload. And again, I don't want to fire that last shell. I want to be getting to my best reload again. So I'm just waiting, and this is all about patience. That's what the tank all is. It's patience. So now we're loaded. We go for the shot into the side of the FV225's turret. It bounces. Chieftain pens us. I go, absolutely not, Mr. Chieftain. I'm not having that. I'm not letting you pen me once and get away with your hit points. So now the Chieftain's actually a one-shot because he had to overexpose again to put that shot into me. So I had to take the opportunity to get that shot into the Chieftain so that now he is a one-shot. For the next time we go after him, we should be able to kill him. So the FV225 is trying to attack the guys behind us at H2. So we're just getting that reload in. Now we can get the shot into the side of his turret. He's a one-shot. I should think about possibly going for the kill here. But no, you know what? I'm going to stick with trying to keep the best reload I can get. So the standard B drives out. We try and snap the shot into the standard B. Yeah, it doesn't go well. We end up missing. That was a poor shot, realistically. And the Cranvarn makes us pay for it, which means we're now a one-shot for everything. Mr. Cranvarn is looking over for shots, though, and I really want to get rid of this guy because he's in an awkward position. He's got the gun depression, so we go for that left-hand side of the pike nose, which is where it was weaker to go pen, and we finish off Mr. Cranvarn, putting ourselves up to the 7,056 damage mark with 379 assistance. The T-57 Heavy is looking for shots into my 277. He's also been a bit awkward, so I could go after him. We do have to be careful of the standard B poking out and shooting us in the side of the turret, though. And yeah, it's just all about being as careful as possible. So we go over, put a shot into the side of the 780. That was a risky thing to do, because again, the standard B could have come and finished us. The guy behind him, the FV225, could have shot us, but we get away with it and we'll take it. Every single time we're getting away with a shot, we're getting more bold. But again, I'm just being careful of Mr. Standard B. If I could get 2 shots in to finish him off, that's what I want to be doing, because we don't want that guy to go just poke out around that corner again and finish us off while we're in our prime. So I'm just having a look to see what the rest of my team are, health-wise. They're all pretty decent. And Mr. Standard B YOLO's round. We put 1 shot into him, but sadly for us, he ends up finishing us off. But he does end up getting finished off as he drives across the open field. But we end up losing on the defeat, as we finish with 2 kills, 8,053 damage, 379 assistance, the high caliber, the Confederate, the first class, for that 962 base XP. An absolutely amazing game for the Rinoceronte there. It's just a sad time that we didn't really have much help in that. We were just constantly firing, and it was all about management of that clip and where and when we were choosing to fire, picking our targets correctly, when to double shot, because we never really wanted to go into the 3rd shot because otherwise we would spend far too long reloading. But if someone had come in to try and kill us, we would have done that. That's the way you've got to balance the Rinoceronte's reload. So now we're on to the 3rd and final game. We're here on Elhalof, and what I want to do on Elhalof is go to the position at C2 on the little ridge line, because I can shoot people as they cross the A line. I can poke around the corner and shoot people that sit at B3, and if they don't really push too aggressively, I can go into the dip, shoot down into this middle area where I'm looking right now, or then go and push the corner at A2 and try and push out the people that might be sitting at A3 as well. I can go around the back or shoot the campers that might be sitting at C6. There's plenty of different variations that we can do from pushing this direction. If we just go the other way, if we go into the middle, say around FG7, it's generally killing grounds. You want to be in a faster tank to do that, and we'd get outspotted and we'd die probably doing that, or we'd have to go sit on the ridges at H5 and camp, and we'd get some damage, but it'd be boring and we'd have to wait for the enemy team to do what they want to do. So we've managed to get to this ridge line here, and this is what I'm talking about. We want to be sitting here waiting for people to cross. Mr. FV225 looked like he wanted to, but with the Concept 1B going across, he ends up not doing it. The IS-3 we get one shot into, and I think, you know what, I'm going to make you pay for that because you penned me. I have no idea how the IS-3 penned us. He hit us with APCR on the move with a very derpy gun, and still, well, I say very derpy gun, these days nothing's derpy, but there we go. He managed to pen us somewhere, and you can see me looking going, where did he pen me? What was that? We made him pay for it, though. We got 1,017 damage in, and again, I was happy to drop the 2 shots, because I knew I could pull back behind that ridgeline and just safely reload. But now the IS-3 is the only one that's pushed. Nothing really gets spotted at B3, so we push aggressively to go after these guys on the corner. So we get this tracking shot into the FV225, hoping he'd get shut down. We notice that there's a heavy tank behind us, which we've got to be very, very careful of. The Rogel Dawn's around the corner. Oh, that's an E3. No, absolutely not. I do not want to take a hit from that E3, because that is a lot of hit points gone down the drain, and we are going to struggle to pen that guy as well. So I'm going to come and help the Chieftain go after the Highlander and the Yag Tiger. So we drive over, put a shot into the lower plate of the Highlander. Something shot at us from the back of the map, and they also hit the Chieftain, or something else also hit the Chieftain, for 824. So that's something we've got to be careful of. We've got to bear that in mind. There is definitely at least a TD or two on that back hill at C6, and if we poke too far over, they are going to shoot us. So we've got to keep that in mind every single time we're going after these guys. We really want them to be overexposing to try and shoot us, not the other way around. So we get a shot into the lower plate of the Yag Tiger, and you can see yet again there's a temptation. I could just go and dump all 3 rounds into this T95 FV4201, but I'm not. And again, that's because I don't want to get into a terrible reload, because he will win. But if I can punish him every single chance I can, it's what I'm going to do. So you can see I'm just keeping single shot. It's what you want to be doing. You don't always want to be dumping the clip, because otherwise you will be just stuck in long reloads and you will just not do anything. But if you get the opportunity to go over and shoot someone like that, and then go, okay, I could kill you, like I was going to there, it's something that you want to contemplate doing. So the Turan gets spotted, and I could have waited for my reload, right? I could have waited for the reload on that Turan. But there was every chance that he was going to get away. He was going to go, oh no, I'm spotted, and run away, and I would never get the opportunity to actually fire at him. So that's why I fired that second shell, even though I was 3 seconds away, just to get the opportunity to put the shot in. But you can see he's come back, and he shot Mr. MBTB for 938 and didn't even get spotted because, well, you know, Turan. So instead, I'm going to try and blind fire the position we last saw him in on that corner. You can see me trying to see around the smoke. So we put a shot out towards that Turan area. Don't hit it. Okay, didn't hit it. Let's just wait for our reload. Go for it again. See if we can get another cheeky shot into him. Unfortunately, don't hit him again. Again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It's always worth trying to go for those blind shots, because you never know. If I hit that Turan, I'll probably put him down to a position where he's a one-shot or something like that, and it'll make it better. But you just saw the SVAC 105 is over there because he just killed the Tiger too, and we were shooting in the general vicinity of him. We've just been fairly unlucky that we did not hit him. But you saw me also make a mistake. And there's something that you can do very easily on this tank, and that is I preempted my reload. I was literally a split second from reloading that last shell, and I pulled the trigger. So I ended up getting stuck in this longer reload like a moron, and so we're just waiting for the reload before we can go after the E4, or go after the TD on the corner. But I'm thinking I don't want to go after the E4 because we know there's a Turan and an SVAC watching that ridge, so there's no point doing that. So what I'm going to do is just decide what I want to be doing right now, because I was thinking, do I want to go after the E3? I could poke over that ridge and go after the E3, but you know what, not really. I don't really want to go around that corner, drive in front of the E3's gun, because that's giving him the easy chances to get shots into me. That would just be the silly thing to do, and especially since the Rogel Dawn's around there, not a good time. So in fact, instead of going in front of the SVAC and the Turan, let's go and try and get surprise cross shots, because they are attacking my guys at B2. I should have nice side shots and cross shots into this E3 and Rogel. So we see the Rogel. Hello. No E3 in sight. Okay, you know what? The Rogel's fired. I'm going to take the opportunity to put 3 shots into the Rogel Dawn to take his hit points all the way down to a 2-shot and make it so it's easier for my team to take him out. And then I can just go hide behind this ridgeline and wait out my very, very long reload. Now you can see I'm waiting before I press B to boost my reload with food, because I want to get this first shell in before I do that, because then I will get the full effect of loading the other 2 shells with my food. My food won't run out before I reload both of the 2 shells. And I'll get the best reload on those shells too with that food boost. So that's why we waited. But yeah, we're just waiting to see on the Rogal Dawn. He's looking the other way, so now I'm going to get 2 shells in. Screw it. Let's go round, finish off the Rogal. I was going to put 2 shots in to shut the Rogal Dawn down, but in fact I only needed the 1 because he took a hit. The E3 is also a 1-shot, so I'm going to wait for my second shot to load so that I have 2 opportunities to kill this E3. Because, you know, we're not going to chance RNG. RNG might say, you know what, you're going to miss the first shot, so we're going to wait. But the E3 is still sideways on, so I decide, okay, I'm not going to poke over that way again. Because again, there was a Turan, there was an SVAC in a position to shoot and cover that position. I'm not chancing that. Let's go round behind the E3 while he's distracted with the heavy tank at C1 and see if we can get a surprise shot into his butt. And that's what we want to be doing, keeping ourselves covered on this left-hand side. You can see me checking the angles, get up behind the E3, finish him off. We're also detected, and that's because we poked out a little bit there where that Turan could see us, but we've managed to secure that kill on Mr. E3. So I decided to go for a full reload. Why have I gone for a full reload? Because I had 2 rounds of APCR left. That's why. We may as well get full loading the heat rounds, get a full clip loaded, so we can get after the Turan, get after the 2 other TDs and the heavy tank that's knocking around somewhere. We may as well have a full clip ready to go after these dudes. But if I can get a shot into that Turan and put him down to a 1-shot, that's what I want to do. And we have the opportunity. He's looking the other way. Aim the shot in. That was very lucky to hit that, to be honest. That was a terrible shot. But we'll RNG giveth, RNG taketh. And I took the opportunity, even though I was in a terrible reload there, I took that shot at the Griller. Oh, sorry, not the Griller. At the Turan. So that he could be a 1-shot. And the T92 finished him off. Which is why, because that Turan is deadly. We did not want him to live. And by doing that and knocking his HP down to within 1-shot range, it meant that we got rid of him. I could have still waited, but he might have got around the corner, and I would never have had the opportunity to actually fire at that dude. So I know the GWE 100 is round this corner. Once again, I have the opportunity to stay safe. I have the opportunity to reload. I'm going to do it because I can clip this guy out if I fire all 3 shots. So now my gun is loaded. I drive around, put 1 shot in. He's fired, which means I get the opportunity to just drive around and make sure. Put a second shot in. Wait on the reload for the third. But we low rolled, by the way. The low rolls, we should have been able to kill that dude, but no, low rolls meant that we didn't. So we're just going to pull back around the corner and wait for our reload once again to be able to kill the GWE. And then drive up to where we know 2 of the last tanks are, which are spotted at A9. So now we've got the final shell in. I'm thinking, screw it. I'm going to go for the worst reload I possibly can and just kill it, secure the kill. But in fact, the T92 ends up finishing him off. So we're just going to try and progress under the gun line of where that SVAC is up at the top. He's a 1-shot though, so we were just looking to see if I could get the shot snapped in, but we had to wait that extra little second to aim, and we didn't get the chance to fire. But now we're nearly fully loaded on our full DPM. We're just going to get under the gun line of the SVAC. He has to overexpose himself to get a shot into us. The other TD spotted in the Canonian Panzer 105 attacking our friend, but, well, we don't have any shots at him. The SVAC's poked over. We aim the shot. We break the gun. We unfortunately hit the gun, the only spot that we weren't going to pen the SVAC and kill him. The only place, and we hit it. Thankfully, his double barrel didn't work, and he only penned 1 of 2. So we got lucky in a way that we got unlucky, right? Because we fired before he did, and we didn't get the chance to actually kill him. But hey-ho, we'll take it. Now we know the SVAC's actually driven around the corner. We can just go over, take our time, make sure we're going to end up shooting this SVAC, finishing him off. And with 2 shots left, we're just going to take the opportunity to fire them both into this AMX M451, who is very stock and in fact is just AFK. And we finish off the AMX M451 there because he took a hit from the artillery. And we finished the game with a very, very good total there for the Rinoceronte. We finished with the victory, 4 kills, 9,500 damage, 1,560 assistance damage, the ace tank of the Confederate, the high caliber, the sniper medal, with 1896 base XP. A really amazing game there for the Rinoceronte, which, like I say, pretty damn solid tank nowadays with all the buffs it's received. It's in a pretty damn nice place. The gun handling's pretty good, although RNG still likes things. The reload's good enough that you can manage it and have good games, as you've already seen. And it's just that uniqueness that adds to the fun of playing the Rinoceronte. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!